Okay, hey there, we're live, and this is a reader's question for you today. I'm excited to be back. It's a Wellness Wednesday, and I love answering readers' or viewers' questions. It always inspires me to, well, if I don't know it right off the top of my head, I definitely love researching about it. So this one's about climbing stairs and having pain when you're climbing stairs. That's very, very common, and I'm going to get to a couple of key tools that you can use. And that, what I would say based on having the description of the question of having pain in the knees when climbing stairs. So I would look at this. First of all, I always talk about using muscles, not joints, when climbing stairs, but a common situation with pain in the knees when climbing stairs is tight muscles in the quadriceps and also trigger points. So I'm going to differentiate utilizing tools. So you could use a foam roller to release some of the quads, but more so what I'd love for you to try if you have pain in the knees when climbing stairs is these specific trigger points that I'm going to show you today. So what happens when we sit a lot, we shorten the quads. If we overwork the quads, they get tight. And when we think of trigger points, I want you to think of this like hair. So all of the fibers of our body are like hair. And if you have a tangle in your hair and you try to yank it out, it's going to hurt a lot. And it's going to hurt because it's going to pull all the way up into the scalp, right? It's not necessarily hurting right there. It's going to refer pain. Of course, it's because there are nerves there. But okay, so let's now use this. Let's use that we have pain in the knee, and that's where the pain is showing up. But it's because we've got a knot or a tangle up in the quads, and there's specific muscles that are up underneath the quad, and they tend to get very tight near the hip flexor. And when those are tight, they will refer pain to the knee, especially when climbing stairs. So I'm going to show you those points, and we'll just do a little bit of feeling around on the body because this is going to be interesting for you. I'm not going to use tools. I'm just going to use my hands right now, and then I'll suggest some tools that you could potentially use. So I always like to find the front bones, just find those, and you can find the pubic bone, and then we're going to come down. So we've got the hip flexors here, and then we're going to come down, and let's just focus on one. Hopefully you can see this. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so we're going to come down to just inside, and you can just use your thumb, and you're going to look for a spot. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so you're going to look for a spot with your thumb, and once you find a tender spot, you probably will find it. So the big muscle is on the outside. You're going to come to the inside. I'm not going to get into scientific names or anything, but you're going to feel. I really love for you to tune into your own body to feel for this. Can you sit doing this? Yes, you probably could, but I like to stand just because I'm going to do something and I'll show you. Then once you find it, you could actually go up against the wall and use a ball, like a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, or use a Theracane is great as well. So I have found a spot that I can feel that when I push on it, it is creating pain referral. And that pain referral I actually feel underneath at the cap of my knee, which is so fascinating. You wouldn't think this would occur unless you really understood the body. And that's why I love to teach my clients and really talk about how the body works mechanically. So now, once you've got the spot, what we want to do is we want to stay on it. We don't want to release it until the pain lessens. So for example, we'll measure it to a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that it is excruciating. We don't want to really get to a 10. Maybe if we can get to a 7, 8, we don't want it to be so painful that you can't tolerate it. And you're not intending to create pain, you're actually intending to release the pain. But when we hit a trigger point, it's going to let us know, oh, there's something there. And then when you hold it, stay on it. You're not rubbing it, you're not digging, you're not massaging, you're not rolling, you're just sticking right on it, and it's going to let the tissue release on its own. And I can feel underneath my thumb, the tissue is releasing. It's almost untangling on its own. And you will feel that too. And I really love for you to understand that you should really get in touch with your own body. Touch it, feel it. This isn't some sexual thing. I'm not talking about that at all. Your body's an amazing, amazing home for you. So if it makes you feel uncomfortable to touch your body in these different ways, just start owning your body and realizing that your body's sending you so many messages, and if you can start to listen to it, you're really going to get you're going to have such a better home to live in with your body. So now, once you've got your trigger point and it's gone down, let's say it was an 8, and let's say it's gone down to a 4, that's awesome. We're going to release it. And now, as you release it, what you may feel is energy flowing through there now. And that's really what happens. So if you can go back to that idea of the tangled hair, and then all of a sudden the tangles are released and all of the energy is flowing through there. Or a hose that's kinked, and you turn on the water and the water stops coming out with the kink. But we get the kink out of there, and now we've got the flow of water coming through. And that's a really good thing. This is just one trigger point that you could do, and that could make a difference in the knee. I like starting with one trigger point to see if that makes a difference, because then and then you can start to release this. This quad area gets very tight from sitting. It gets tight from overuse. Not knowing your circumstance or your situation, I couldn't tell you, is it because, maybe you're running too much, or not too much, but overusing those quads too much. I'm going to say overrunning. You could be. I don't know the situation or the circumstance. But that trigger point is definitely a go-to. We've mapped it. The trigger point specialist, we've got, it's been mapped for 50, 60 years now. I love using trigger points, and it makes such a difference. So if you can use that one and try it, if it helps, awesome, then you've discovered something. I always do both sides, even if you're just feeling it mostly in one leg. Always do both sides so that you can balance that. So again, you're just going to go inside. You'll feel the big muscle. There's a big muscle on that thigh, and then you're going to go to the inside. It's right underneath. You're just going to feel underneath, and it almost feels like you're going inside the groin. You're not quite. It's just on the inside of the deeper muscle quad, and then you're going to find that trigger point. Now, it's one of those things where you're not trying to create pain. You're just going to hold that, and it's about 30 or 40 seconds. You want the rest of your body relaxed, and you want to breathe. And then once that comes down, so almost immediately that went down. I felt it. It was probably a 6. It's definitely a 3 already. But what I noticed is it's jumping. So it jumped, and I could feel it go under, and now I've got another spot. So you may have that happen too. And then you're going to go find another spot and release this. And so I can feel referral all the way down, underneath, coming through, and down to my foot. That's what's so wild about trigger points and pain referral. And when you start to understand this and can use this as a tool for all of your daily activities, think about, we were talking about this morning with a client who is gardening and had some pain, and we went and just did some trigger point releasing, and it made such a difference. But you can actually prepare your body by getting into there and letting some of these trigger points get released before you go out and do activities. That's why rolling is very beneficial. That's why when you stretch, if you can roll with that so you don't overstretch, because if you stretch something that's, let's say for example, you've got a big knot, and then you try to stretch that knot, you still have a knot. So we want to get the knot out first, and that's why the trigger pointing is so valuable. You can go and roll and release. That's going to help too. So there's tools in your toolbox. I hope that helps. Yeah, that's I don't want to give you too much on this. So try that out. See if those specific trigger points make a difference. See if it benefits you at all. I can already tell I feel a little bit more energy flowing through there. That is a good thing. That is definitely a sign that trigger pointing is helping. But if you can get this in your mind, that when pain happens, if it's not acute injury, there's a possibility that it is a trigger point. And if we look at some of those trigger points and release trigger points, we actually can get some major relief where we might have thought, oh, well, it's my knees. And then we go off on another wild chase of, oh, I've got knee problems and what am I going to have knee surgery? It's like, wait a minute, let's just go check and see what else is affecting that. And that's why you can use trigger point releasing. So I mentioned tools. I'll just do this really quickly. I have tennis balls. I would say, if you have money to invest in rollers and, you can get expensive trigger point balls, but you could also get lacrosse balls, tennis balls, marbles, all kinds of things. I was going to say, like a rolling pin, things that are in your kitchen, thumbs, fingers, they all work. Don't make it complicated. Don't make it complicated. Just use these tools and have fun with your body and reconnect with your body and let it be okay that your body has pain. Expand out that energies where you don't immediately, oh my God, I have pain, something's horrible, something's wrong. Like, no, doesn't mean what you think it means. Let's just take a step back and look at, could it be a trigger point, or could it be I'm dehydrated? Could it be, right? And not like listing like, oh my gosh, could it be? It's like, oh, let me investigate. Let me actually take an observing view, just observe what's going on, get the information, and then act. And if you don't have all of that information for yourself, you want to get competent guidance. And that's why I love doing these Wellness Wednesdays. Please comment. Please, if you subscribe and ring the bell, you'll get notified when I do these lives. And please ask any questions and let me know how that worked. Try it out. See if that makes any kind of a difference. Without knowing what the circumstance is with your knees, what's going on there. Just generally speaking, if your knees are hurting when you're climbing stairs, without me watching you and looking at what's going on, maybe your gaits, whatever, just try those trigger points and see if that makes a difference. I've shared it with others and they love it and they swear by it. So try it, see if it makes a difference. You could lay and do tennis ball in there if you don't like using your own thumbs, if that doesn't feel good. You could put a tennis ball in there. You could go up to a wall and put that in there. You can't really see that, but you could use that where you're going up against the wall and using the pressure of the wall. You could certainly do it on the floor if needed, those kinds of things, okay? I hope that helps. I'm Stefana. I'm the founder of Yogilachi, and Yogilachi, we blend yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi. We are focused on optimal movement, mindset, and nutrition. Definitely into corrective exercise. That's our specialty. So if you're having pain or you're struggling with chronic pain, issues like that, we can help. All right, so you can subscribe and like and check us out at yogilachi.com. Until next time, have a great week.